Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Unsere Sendungen bieten viele Sprachen. Gehen Sie auf suprememastertv.com/schedule.
The main task of the animals is to collect magnetism. While animals are healthy, people will be healthy as well. And as soon as animals start being sick, people will also be sick. Please continue watching for the teachings of Master Beinsa Douno, vegetarian.
Pasitos taste emos taste. This means your happiness is my happiness in Bulgarian. Charismatic viewers, I am Dimitar, the earth-cherishing people of Bulgaria. Thank you for your fellowship in bringing our world to peace and prosperity through the sustaining vegan diet. May you be eternally blessed by the heavens. Welcome to love all living creatures as yourself, from food, way of life in the law of nutrition by Master Beinsa Douno, vegetarian, part 1 of 2 on Words of Wisdom. The spiritual lineage of the Universal White Brotherhood was founded by Master Beinsa Douno, also known as Peter Konstantinov Dunov of Bulgaria, in 1897. Master Beinsa Douno taught that the qualities of humility, obedience, honesty, goodness, intelligence, and nobility are foremost in spiritual practice. He explained that one should walk the path of love, wisdom, and truth. The Universal White Brotherhood believes that God is in everything, in the stones, the plants, the water, the air, the animals, and the light. Following the principle of ahimsa, or non-violence, Master Beinsa Douno practiced and preached a vegetarian diet. The Master was also an accomplished musician and composer of many spiritual songs and compositions. Today, we will read a selection from Master Beinsa Douno's book, The Law of Nutrition, from the chapter Food, Way of Life. Here, the compassionate Master draws our attention to the upset of balance and harmony with nature due to humankind's unnatural and unkind treatment of animals, our friends and co-inhabitants.
Warning: you might find the content herein disturbing, but the truth must be revealed.
Food, way of life. All the sicknesses attacking people are due to former or current crimes. Nothing remains unpunished. The germs now poisoning the human body are nothing but the poison of fear and hatred, which the cattle, chickens, lambs felt towards the man who killed and butchered them. Is that possible? It is possible. The same way an offensive word can poison and destroy a human body, the fear and hatred of animals which man butchers poison his body. The culture itself carries poisons in itself. The way people are doing, if they don't correct themselves, they will always carry with themselves their misery. How are miseries born? At first, miseries are born of the unnatural selection of food. In America, there are statistics showing that about 35-40 million pigs are killed every year. Millions of animals are killed in Europe as well, as nobody takes into consideration their feelings. The scripture says, whoever slaughters an ox is as if he is slaughtering a man. This shows that God is not content with the death of the animals. And here's what I'm asking. How would human culture be improved when a large number of mammals are being killed every year? These mammals, when being killed, they created the most unfavorable conditions for the human culture. And those religious people, Christians, they open the Bible every day and read that the Lord has created all that for people. Time created them. After that, plants came, which redeemed animals' lives. Animals, on their part, redeem people's lives. And then people say that it is allowed to eat the animals for the good of mankind. This is an internal permission. This is one of the most unnatural types of food. Man may dare to do a lot of unnatural things. Now, I want you all to have a desire for all those principles it takes to build a man. If you want to have an excellent mind, an excellent stomach, and excellent lungs, you must pick the necessary food. The main task of the animals is to collect magnetism. While animals are healthy, people will be healthy as well. And as soon as animals start being sick, people will also be sick. That is why we must be friendly to animals in order to be able to make use of the magnetic powers which they store in themselves. Due to the cutting down of forests and the killing of mammals, people are subjected to great sufferings without being able to help themselves. They don't even suspect that animals and plants are reservoirs of vital powers for the growth and development of man. By exterminating mammals, their vital powers are dispersed in space. As long as people are unable to connect directly to the powers of nature, they are deprived of those powers which they would receive from animals. The immense extermination of mammals creates abnormalities in nature. Most diseases are due to the killing of mammals and birds. As far as that extermination does not stop their evolution, all the powers which are to form their well-being remain unused, and thus chaos comes upon the world, which is the reason for the various diseases. Do you know what happens after the arbitrary spillage of this animal blood? Its vapors produce various serums and cultures for the harmful germs which produce all the evils in the organic world. In order to achieve balance in nature, it had to shed about 1 million kilos of blood to balance those animals' blood. But now, this war, World War II, leads to the shedding of about 2 million kilos of blood. In order to achieve a balance in nature, about 100 million kilos of blood are to be shed to balance animals' blood. And this is what wars do. The way water is needed to wash the clothes, to water the flowers, the same way, if we sometimes commit minor crimes, blood will be needed for cleaning. As long as crimes are big, millions of people will have to die in order to cleanse the soaked earth of the crimes so that we can live. You will shed a lot of blood before you are cleansed. Your happiness in the world lies on the sufferings of those tiny creatures which serve you. You who consider yourselves very noble, go and ask the small creatures what do they think of your nobility. All the sheep, oxen, lambs, chickens, ducks, all those birds have an attitude towards you. All of them have a special opinion of men. All the smaller creatures shout in one voice that man is an extremely cruel being. If we ask the trees, they will also say as well, man is horrible, merciless, and then you would ask, why has the Lord created the world this way? No, the Lord created the world to be good, but we and all those people before us have spoiled it. The way the external world is spoiled, it affects our inner selves. The world is made in such a way that when the master suffers, the servants suffer as well, and vice versa. The same goods God has provided man with, these have also been provided to the trees and flowers and little flies and fish and birds and all of the mammals. Man is in harmony with nature as well as with the divine world, while it makes use of the surplus of goods. If he wants to use all of the goods, he disturbs that harmony. Nature preserves a part of the goods for itself, something like an emergency stop. Whoever dares to lay his hands on that stop, he breaches the great rules of life. There is a human habit which people themselves have introduced in their lives and which they must eliminate themselves. In order to escape these rules, people have to eliminate the human rules and impose God's, the divine nature of man. Every person can find the divine understanding in himself, nowhere else. No matter how hungry a person may be, he will never cut a piece of meat from his leg or from another place. One would never let himself eat from his own meat. If he cuts off a portion of his own meat and tries to eat it, he will feel utmost repulsion. If you feel such a repulsion when it comes to you, why don't you feel the same about others? Why a hungry person, when there is nobody around, can starve to death without being tempted to eat from his own body? Why he can starve to death also when there are other people around? In both cases, a person should not touch the meat of his neighbor, of himself, or of an animal. This is God's understanding. If we apply that in life, there will be no death. Compassionate viewers, we thank you for your kind company for today's words of wisdom. Please join us again tomorrow for part 2 of this program. Coming up next is Innovative Ways to Create Smart, Sustainable Cities, part 2 of 2, right after Noteworthy News. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television for more constructive programming. May we all rediscover our divinity by honouring the sacredness of nature and all lives in it, in God's love.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.